some of those traditions, we still, for libation, yes, we still have that, you know, but there's a lot of intermarriages that used to take place. Right. So the communities are actually quite small. Yes. Yeah. I think there's even a picture, there's a picture that I have of, well, my grandfather took years ago, of Haile Selassie visiting Sierra Leone. And the former president of Sierra Leone, Shaka Stevens, there's a picture of that when he visited Sierra Leone years ago. Yes. There's also the former Sierra Leone ambassador the former Sierra Leonean ambassador. I remember her also meeting Haile Selassie, and it's like a picture that she has that's like all over the house, because it was such a historical moment for her, you know. But the relationship has always been there between Sierra Leone and Jamaica, because, you know, like we all said, the culture is similar. You know, we all have like the same style of food. We love our spicy foods. We love Jamaican music. Bob Marley Day is celebrated every year on May 8th. It's like, it's such a big deal, you know. May 8th. On May 11. May 11, sorry. I mean, it's such a big deal. Yeah, because we might be coming back for May 11. That's my birthday. Wow, okay. So you're Taurus. Yeah, I am. You're Taurus. Mine is also May 15th. There you go. My whole family is born in May. So yes. So that's it. IRFM for free. That's my next guest, so you can hear the thing ringing. That's a doorbell in the background there, Shay, just ringing as another of our guests arrive for the program. So we were talking about the language, and we were just speculating that it probably the Africans who came in, you know, after the Second Maroon War, that the integration and the assimilation resulted in how we talk, you know. You know, Mama Woki, it could be. You think not? I think it's possible. I mean, we all, I mean, I mean, like, when Jamaicans speak, I understand what you guys are saying. I think for us, even with us, and we have similar words as well. For example, body. We all have the same interpretation for body. Okay. Or how you sleep. How do you body? Yes. Okay. So you go. Yeah. You know? Yes. You're there. Yeah. So I mean, it's so similar. Or thank you. Can we say hold and thank you? Yeah. I mean, almost. They go. Yeah. I mean, so it's very easy to understand. I think the only thing is we speak very fast. You know, this is interesting what she's saying, because we think Jamaicans speak very fast. And Mama Woki said the same thing about Sierra Leoneans. Sierra Leoneans speak very fast. We speak very fast, Arguments when they came was that there are times when they talk, you don't understand what they were saying. Oh. I got that, yes. I was talking with one of my brothers, Emmanuel, and he was asking me, you hear all the things they say? Oh, you say, because there are times you people talk very fast. Yes, you do. You speak very fast. Yes, we speak very fast too. All right, so real interest. So there's a whole lot in common with Jamaica, from the land to the sea, to the beaches, to the language, to the food, and. You know, I think I said something, and I think Sizzler said the same thing. That is true. We've been around Africa, and we see the similarity because we're one people from the continent of Africa. But honestly. Sierra Leone, more than any other African country that I've been to, is where we are most alike in terms of behaviors, in terms of language, in terms of food, in terms of looks. It is, people just meet you and just talk. Like, I was at the stage show the other night, and people were just asking me things, and it's too loud to tell them that. I don't know, because I'm from Jamaica, and I can't even tell anybody that I'm from Jamaica. But you do understand what they were saying. Yeah, I understood what they were saying, but then to go now to say, I don't know, and then they just look at you like, oh, you don't know? You know, like, you know, Sierra Leone and from down there, sir. Yes. How come you don't know? There was one time that one person met your daughter, and he was talking directly to him. That's the time the light went off. Yes. And he was saying, Una, why are they ready for me money? That he was saying when he's ready for his money, the money that they paid. Yes. And then she was just... Oh, he thought she was from Sierra Leone? Yes, he thought she was from Sierra Leone. It's also... Yes, that was the night. Yes. That was the night. Yes. See, so I think we have the same things in common. Yes. Like the patois, that's one that you people say, what a guan. Yes. Now we got that one. How are you doing?
That's what's going on, like that. How the body, what's going on. We have the same like respect for elders.
Yes.
Elders.
Well, we're losing that in Jamaica now. We're losing that. That's something that we're losing rapidly.
See, that's why when Mama G came, most of the things that they're doing, they involve Mama G because they think she's good elder one. To pour libation, Mama G was there. Even when she's going now to Bones Island, I think that's why they call her. Because when they want to do it, they want an elderly person to do it, and she's going to do that one.
So the respect for elders is there.
That's our tradition.
We're not hearing. Say that again.
That is our tradition here. Here we respect elders. Whatever thing the elders lead, then we follow. So have respect for elders, elderly people. We have respect for them. The aged, we have respect for them.
I grew up with seeing that, but I can tell you that it's almost nil in Jamaica right now, right? In terms of how we Jamaicans interact with elders. So that is something we need to reclaim because it's part of our culture in a way. Well, tell us a little bit about that. As I welcome Emmanuel Suma from the Office of the Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. Hi, Emmanuel. Thank you for coming in.
Hello. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. No, Emmanuel, thank you so much for, not going to Bones Island.
I'm Emmanuel. God with us.
God with, yeah.
I had to sacrifice.
I know. Thank you for the sacrifice. And we're not nailing you to the cross. But we couldn't do this without Emmanuel with us. You understand what I'm saying? There you go. So thank you so much, Emmanuel. All right, so we'll come back to you in a later, Emmanuel. But talk to me a little bit more about
the elders.
Yes, the elders.
Like, for example, if we have an occasion or function, then I'm sitting on front. Then we see elderly people. All of us will get from
we get up.
Yes. We'll give the seat to the elders.
Okay.
Behind.
Yes.
So we really have respect for elders.
Right. And I suppose this happens across the spectrum, whether you're in the...
Across. Even when we are walking, you see elderly people who left everything that we are doing, who try to hold the person, try to help him or her.
And everybody does this.
Everybody. That is our main culture here in Sierra Leone.
What happens to the person who disrespects the elder?
You'll be in fact, you can't even think that.
Wow.
You can't even think that.
What kind of punishment?
Not that much punishment. Not that much. But there are some people that will be around you. When you want to talk to elderly people, you do it with respect. Even when you want to greet, we go down.
Or you touch the ground when you're greeting?
No. We kneel down.
Oh, you bend down?
Yeah, we bend down to say good morning. We go down.
To an elder?
To an elderly person.
Oh.
So there's much respect for the elderly people.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are times we do talk to them. You will not talk to your mom or dad like this. So you don't even do that outside. Yeah. But there are some people that usually do that and go down with it. That's it.
So the entire community would look down on that person.
Yes.
Go ahead. Let me hear what you're saying.
Yeah, punishments may come in different forms. I wouldn't really call it punishment per se. So there's a tendency you could interact with ostracized. Of course, there are outliers. People do it. People would always be disrespectful. There will always be disrespectful people. But as she said, there is this element of social pressure that you will get. So if you're a kid, you may be spanked by the parents. But it depends, really. Of course, there are significant challenges as well, as with every other instance, every other situation. But then when you do that, you will face some kind of rebuke, sometimes spanking, sometimes ostracism, you'll be ostracized, so different forms of reaction to disrespect.
Wow. This first means a lot because it is something that we talk about a lot in Jamaica, and it's something that we have lost. I wouldn't even say losing. It's something that we have lost in terms of how Jamaican youth interact with the elders, whether or not we respect our elders, and even in some cases whether or not the elders are respecting themselves. So the whole thing is topsy-turvy as far as that is concerned. As I said, we had a fashion designer with us, and we want to talk a little bit to Mama Woki about her her business of fashion designing. What do we call these? The boo-boos, right? So is that basically what you?
Yes, the gowns.
How did you start?
So I started the brand 16 years ago. It started off as a sustainable fashion brand. I was always inspired by clothes. I always loved clothes. And I was only interested in fashion. And I remember my grandmother going to the principal's office several times. They were like, oh, this child, she's always cutting off fabrics. This is all we see her doing in class when she's supposed to be paying attention to either a biology lesson or maths lesson. And, she kept going to the principal office several times. My dad had a very busy job as a gynecologist. So he was like, you guys sort her out. And, I graduated so my family, how they supported me, they were like, okay, if it's something you're really passionate about, go to university. And after that, we'll support you. And so the minute I graduated from university, I went into it full time. I started off designing clothes for my friends, making it very affordable. And then, a lot of people got inspired. There was demand. And of course, if there's demand, there has to be supply. So and every year we used to take part in a lot of shows. I've done Bahamas Fashion Week a few years ago. We've taken part in Lagos Fashion Week. We've done Arise Fashion Week. We've done AFI Fashion Week in South Africa. We've done African Fashion Week, New York. We've done Fashion for Development with Naomi Campbell. So that was how it started.
Wow,
yes.
wow. And and so the early days was here in Sierra Leone.
In Sierra Leone,
I know you said you went to school during the war years in Ghana.
Yes.
So what happened in Ghana?
So during the war, during the war, we went to school in Ghana for 2 years.
Okay.
We ran away as refugees. And I think, again, the drive that Ghanaians had, if they're passionate about something, they go into it. If you're passionate about gardening, that's the business you go into. If you're passionate about carpentry, you do it and you do it really well and you make an income out of it. So I think, the curiosity was always there. But then, the belief that, okay, it is going to happen. I think that was built when I got to Ghana, and by the time I came back, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do full time. Yeah.
What were the challenges, if any? Because to move from a small fashion designer, this is what you've been doing all your life, into Miami Fashion Week and all of that. Talk to us about that process.
So for me, one of the big things that I believed in was if I wanted people to know about Sierra Leone fashion, I had to be willing to invest in myself. So one of the things that we always did was, we'll do our research in terms of what show is happening where, and, what is the logistics that's involved. And, my clientele have been like super supportive, the people buying our products. And so some way, somehow they just make it happen. I remember I did Fashion for Relief with Naomi Campbell. I had to travel to the US twice during the Ebola because she was like, we want something African, but not too African. Right. So I went to the US. I worked on the design, and in my mind, I kept thinking, okay, I had to come back to get it right. And we were able to showcase, black and white stripe outfit. So
we would remember her in that outfit, right? Yes.
We've had Yvonne Chaka Chaka, Princess of Africa. She's been to Sierra Leone twice. And of course she was on stage. She was like, oh, somebody promised me a boo-boo, where is it? And she called me out, and she's worn our pieces a few times. I've hung out with her in South Africa. She's worn our pieces. She's always telling her friends about us. So for me, the most important thing is just sharing the story about Sierra Leone, sharing the story about Sierra Leone fashion. Because the thing is, not much is known about Sierra Leone. Right. I feel as if one of the reasons why so many people love Jamaica, the introduction was the music. That is what got everybody talking about Jamaica. Jamaica is because of the music. So for me as a fashion brand, I just thought, okay, how do I use fashion as a means to share a positive story about Sierra Leone, not just the clothes that we produce, but even the people who produce our fabrics. So, for example, we run a skills training center in across the country. We've trained about 3,080 women in the last 4 years to produce their fabrics, and we also
produce their fabric. So you're building it from scratch.
Yes. So we've actually trained 3,080 in 4 years, and the target is to train 5,000. Again, moving even beyond just designing clothes. We've also been engaging with the government. It's okay. How do we empower rural communities, women who are based in the rural areas who don't have access to finance or access to information as we do that live in the city? How do we introduce school uniforms as official school, how do we introduce Gara, which is our traditional fabric, as school uniforms for rural women in marginalized communities in the rural areas? So for me, the whole idea is fashion is supposed to inspire, it's supposed to empower, and it's supposed to tell a story. So that's the story about Madam Muki.
And the story that you're telling, as you've underscored, is a story of Sierra Leone.
Yes.
And the journey, its history.
And you can't talk about Sierra Leone without talking about the fashion. You can't talk about Sierra Leone without talking about, the women. I grew up around very strong role models, and one of the things that I always say is Sierra Leoneans have the most hardworking women you can think of. You can't talk about Sierra Leone without talking about our music and our food. So everything is interconnected.
So how do you so the story in terms of the fashion, because we know the boo-boo, obviously. It's also something that's pretty common in Jamaica, right?
Yes.
Obviously from the continent of Africa. Is this quintessentially Sierra Leonean or West African?
It's West African, because you go to Dakar, you see women wearing their boo-boo gowns like every single day of the week, 7 days a week. You hardly see Senegalese women wearing, you hardly see Senegalese women wearing anything if it's not a boo-boo. Whether it's an international fashion show, whether it's a wedding ceremony, whether it's a funeral, and again, I think, just the design of the fabric, that it's a loose outfit that you can either dress up or dress down. I think that is what makes it very versatile and very easy to wear. If you're in a rush to go somewhere, you're like, okay, I want to stand out, but I don't have the time to, to wear something that's too fitted or too structured. You just sew it on, and that is.
And we see many versions of it now all over. So some of the Western versions, which is really rip off of our thing,
our designs.
What are we going to do about that?
I mean, a lot of the brands have been doing it for quite a number of years, but one thing that I'll say is there's a renaissance that's taking place across West Africa, but even in different parts of the world. Especially with what's happening in America. The reality is a lot of Africans are now focused on, not even Africans, but the world in general wants to now questions how products are made, like the people behind the pieces that they wear. So there's been a lot of conversations on authenticity, who produces our fabrics, who makes our fabrics, where our fabrics coming from, the workers producing our fabrics, are they working in a healthy environment? So these are very tough conversations that are happening. So I think the stories of how pieces are produced, I know it's the same thing in Jamaica. Like if you're buying a brand, you're not just buying the brand because of buying the brand, but you want to know who is the person that's producing the piece? How many workers do they have that are working in the factory that's producing the pieces? Are they paid well? What is their the pieces produced,
the ethics around it,
manner? There are conversations about even fashion waste. Like what happens to like leftover fabric. So, and the thing is, the way we produce pieces, I think the authentic story is what makes clients buy into our product. It's not you're not just buying an outfit. You want to know how it was created from start to finish. Even though it's low fashion.
But so how does because one of the things that we're noticing, even as far as creeping into the African diaspora, Jamaica in particular, is that we're now flooded with fabric from China. And we're talking about African fabric. How is that impacting the authenticity that we're speaking about, and to what extent can we pull back on this?
So back in the days, I'll say to you, for example, I'll use Sierra Leone as a case study. I'll say to you that a lot of Sierra Leoneans love buying the wax prints. one of the things that we have done, sometimes you have to teach people by example. One thing that I'll say is, in terms of fabric designs, I wouldn't even just limit it to China. Sometimes people want a taste of something different, they buy it in China. If they want a taste of something different, they buy it in Malaysia. It depends because most back in the days, Africans used to produce their own prints. So in Sierra Leone, we had a hand-woven fabric, which was called the country cloth, which is similar to what the Ghanaians make, which is called the kente. We also used to do agara. We also used to do a batik, which is very common in Ghana, Nigeria, and different parts of Africa. At some point in time, I guess some Africans felt that, our fabrics were not of a higher value. They're almost inferior. But I think, conversations around fashion have started changing. A lot of Africans have now started embracing their roots. They've now started embracing their individuality. They want something that's unique. They want something that speaks to them. They want something that speaks to their culture. They love the story of how, fabrics are woven. So there have been honest, raw, unfiltered conversations about how does fashion move forward. And one of the, as part of those conversations that have been taking place, there's that realization that it doesn't make sense for me to buy a foreign fabric that's empowering another country when I could be empowering people in my own home country.
And I'm wondering if people are even aware, because I think, sometimes you grab a piece and somebody say, oh no, that is from China.
Yes.
As opposed to, that's not made in Africa. So part of that is also, we have to educate ourselves. We have to become more aware about what's happening around us. How can we tell the difference?
You can tell different because of the quality, because the texture of the material. So, for example, even with Agara fabrics, the Chinese have copied our designs, but then the reality is when you touch the texture, it's polyester, whereas the one that's locally made in Sierra Leone is cotton. So I think those are one of the ways in which, you can tell the difference. But then also a lot of people who sometimes buy these products, they go to the manufacturers. So for example, a lot of these pieces are actually made by women. So for example, if you go to certain places in Makeni, you see more, it's almost like a textile hub. For the Gara and the batik. If you want the country cloth, most people go to places like Bo and Kenema to get it. So most times people who have that strong desire for original products go to these places. And again, like I said, when there's demand, the people producing the pieces know that they have to step up their game in terms of coming up with like new innovative designs. So the demand is there. I think conversations have started shifting, and we see this wave taking place in Africa. So for example, in Sierra Leone, Sierra Leonean designers. In Sierra Leone, we also know other designers from Africa, who are actually like...
So there's a network, and the idea is to tap into the network to follow where...
Yes, there's So conversations have started changing, even in Nigeria, because I've done quite a few shows in Nigeria. I'll say to you that Nigerians now produce their own fabrics in factories, fabrics in-house. They have their own in-house factories that produce their fabrics. So I think conversations have started changing. And then again, using your brand ambassadors. So for example, your musicians, your artists, when you see them constantly rocking your products, there's like, that demand, where's this fabric from? Or where's this outfit from? So, for example, I had Yvonne Chaka wearing my product. Again, the demand increased both in Sierra Leone as well as in South Africa. We've had Idris Elba, who supports, Sierra Leonean designers.
Oh, yes, we've been reading about him.
He's worn my pieces, both in Sierra Leone as well as outside of Sierra Leone. There's that level of demand.
So you're working at many levels.
Yes.
And so that information is going out there. So when we see Idris Elba in
a bomber jacket,
that's you.
That
there you go, Badaboke.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. And so I'm very honored to have a piece from you. My daughter
It was very important for me because, like the other speakers were saying, Sierra Leoneans, we love visitors. We love welcoming you to our space. We love welcoming you into our home because we are not as active on social media. We don't market this country enough, but I feel as if we're the warmest people that you can find. Most strangers coming here for the first time say that. And for me, if we have a guest coming to Sierra Leone, you guys have to experience our food. And I'm
Yes.
happy that you've been able to have that. You guys also have
Thank
to
you all
experience
for feeding us.
You guys
Yeah.
also have to experience our fashion. So
Yes.
for me, it was very important that you guys have a piece that's made by women for women.
Yes, we
for you
love
to
them.
Take back home. Yes. Yeah.
So I got one for me. My daughter got
Yes.
one. And we were here saying that Mama not get none, but we're not begging anymore. We know that you give us a lot.
No, we want you
I
to
will,
have
I will share mine with my mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I share stuff with my mom all the time,
Yes.
in my gown. So like, okay, if you're not making me anything new, I'm just gonna pick something up from your
Yes.
wardrobe. So
Yes.
it's an African thing as well. We always share stuff with our family members.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we love them. We love
Yes,
them. I mean,
yes,
yes, we do.
Exactly.
So we're gonna advertise the fabric for you too. I mean, where can we get your pieces?
So it's Madame without an E, WOKIE. We're very active on Facebook.
So Madam Wokie, MADAMWOKIE.
Yes, you can find us on Facebook. We have quite a few varieties of stuff available. Send us we're also on WhatsApp, but you can send us a private message on Facebook, and we ship internationally.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So we're going to. So let's just ask Tristan, and Tristan, just talk to Tristan, and I was trying to get some of your products up on the IRFM social media. Thank you, Nick, our social media manager at IRFM, for helping to facilitate that. Thank you so much, Madam Wokie, for coming in this morning and sharing our table. We like the idea of the black-brown table. And we might have a little feature in the called Blackbone Sierra Leone, something to that effect. But we love this idea. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the work that you're doing. We'll pay more attention to fashion out of Sierra Leone as of now, and also to what you're doing. Thank you so much. All right, so that's Madam Wokie, fashion designer, international fashion designer from Sierra Leone, here in Sierra Leone this morning. Let's take a quick break. We're coming to you live from Sierra Leone, Freetown in Sierra Leone, and boy, this has been really a lovely, lovely time. Let me just say thanks to the team and the leader of a team here in Sierra Leone who put this all together from Jamaica. Our honorary consulate, head of the honorary consulate in Jamaica, Professor Rosalie Hamilton, was the catalyst behind our being able to be here in Sierra Leone. A few things happened. Not least of all is the Hurricane Melissa. And all of this, our trip and everything was planned and in train before the hurricane. And so after the hurricane, we waited for a few days, and I called Rosalie and I said, how do we do this now? This is going to be really so difficult. We weren't even quite sure we'll be able to make it. And she said, all right, let's just play this by ear. Let's see what's happening. And we are thinking of going ahead as long as we can move, because all of this is already planned. Sierra Leone is expecting us. The advertising is happening. How can we not go? For somebody like myself, whose home got not badly damaged as others, but still we had damage. And so many of us on the trip were just reeling from Hurricane Melissa. And we were leaving behind Jamaicans, our families, who had lost entire houses, lost their roofs, just, entire communities decimated. And I know Jamaica is still rebuilding even as we speak. We understand the challenges. We've been paying attention. We're listening. And I've been getting calls even here from friends in Santa Cruz, for example, who have said to me, right now it's unbearable, just living from day to day. So I understand that the challenges are many on the ground in Jamaica. I'm reading the reports coming out of that. We're watching the videos. We're attending the conferences remotely from here. And recognize the extent to which the rebuilding is still happening. We note also the vandalism to the Jamaica Public Service light post in St. Mary in Bonham Spring, that's St. Anne, but that was serving St. Mary, Bonham Hill, Exchange, I suppose, all of that area, probably Three Hills, I'm not sure. But that was such a wicked, vicious, vulgar act for anyone to have carried out that we can't even wrap our heads around it. But so we note that. We're also hearing the conversations coming out of the JPS and the decisions that are being made by government in terms of how the JPS might or might not be assisted in all of this. This is great cause for concern. So we're watching that. Also, while we watch this, people's lives are hanging in the balance. So it is housing that is still important. Getting persons who are affected by Hurricane Melissa into shelters. Another thing that we're really, really concerned about is the sexual assault of women and children. We talked about that last week before last, with our sister, Kimberly Gabold. We have been talking to survivors of sexual assault during this process. We have been talking to persons who are traumatized still. We know young girls who are being assaulted. And I'm not quite sure that we're hearing enough about what is being done in the communities without electricity, and where young girls and women are left at the mercy of these hooligans who are literally preying upon them. So I call on the Minister of Gender to pay critical attention to this, to the NGOs who are usually focused on some of these issues, but just Jamaica as a whole, for community to protect community, to protect community, to protect community. We are our sisters' keeper. We are our children's keeper. We are our daughters' keepers. And this is how we're going to have to approach this to stem this problem. It's going to be at the end of this, or even going through this, a traumatic process for so many people already. On top of that, we're dealing with these issues. So another thing we're paying attention to is what's happening in the Caribbean waters. So Donald Trump tweeted yesterday, through social, he was on yesterday. He says he's closing the air. He has commanded that they close the airspace over Venezuela and also across Venezuela. So I'm looking at some of these maps, and I'm not sure that I'm reading them right, but I think this is of great concern to us in the Caribbean. We see the Manifest Destiny at play. We see the Monroe Doctrine at play. These have always been at play, but this is the first time in a long time that we see an American president going all out to invoke the Monroe Doctrine, so that if it happens in one region within the Caribbean water, if it's Venezuela, then it will happen to us. Now, I am still very concerned that we're not hearing anything from CARICOM that makes sense. So for me, as I said a few months ago and a few weeks ago, the problem we're having is that CARICOM is seeing its League of Nations moment. And for us, that's a sad situation. Remember when His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor Haile Selassie, went to the League of Nations when Italy, used mustard gas and all kinds of biological weapons in Ethiopia? When he went to the League of Nations, that is a precursor to the United Nations, he begged, let's not use beg with a majesty, but he pleaded with the League of Nations. And he went as far as to say, today it's Ethiopia and tomorrow it will be you. And we saw what happened afterwards. And even now, we see the ramifications of that. But the big thing that happened with that was the total dismantling of the League of Nations. I am saying to CARICOM that you are in your sunset era because you haven't really dealt with this. The head of CARICOM is the Prime Minister of Jamaica right now. CARICOM is headed up now out of Jamaica. It is our turn. And I know we have the hurricane, but we can walk on chew gum. We can ride on whistle. And so we need to do that. So it's not too late for CARICOM. I know CARICOM is more or less powerless now, it's a toothless animal. But the point we're raising is that it's not too late for the Caribbean community to come together and to, in a very serious way, say to the United States, you are wrong and we will not support you on this. I suppose that they're never going to do that because of all of these bilateral arrangements between individual countries and the United States. And people are afraid of losing their visas. But I think we have to be prepared to lose our visas. If we are going to be the manufacturers or the leaders and of the next technocratic period, that era that's coming up on us, because we're going into technocracy. If we're not going to be slaves and enslaved by these multinational corporations and these technocrats, then we have to take a stand. We have to take a stand. So I'm really upset with CARICOM, and not that I expected any better, but my begs, just the way that CARICOM is behaving like it don't even exist. And now we see Trinidad. I don't know if you saw the last bit of information coming out of Trinidad. Pamela Besesa is saying that, who is the Prime Minister of Trinidad, she's saying that she didn't think it was necessary to tell Trinidadians that she was putting up that the US was putting some surveillance system, massive system, in Trinidad. She didn't think it was necessary to do that. Check the information. That's all over the reporting over the internet. It's also being reported widely in Trinidad. This is a serious mistake on the part of Trinidad. But here we have Trinidad that's siding with the United States on this. We have Guyana on the other end that's siding with the United States on that. We have a massive army amassing on the border between Guyana and Venezuela, I suppose, in the Essequibo region. That is also a problem. And we have right now, as we speak, the biggest armada, military armada, in the Caribbean waters, facing all of the Caribbean countries and Venezuela and others on the other side, that we have seen since the Iraq War. The biggest military contingent U.S. armada is now amassed in the Caribbean waters. And we're hearing that the skies over Venezuela and across the region are closed. What does that mean? These are questions that we have to answer. I can't say much from Sierra Leone. They might not even let me back into the country after we're done. If it gets me, I travel. They might not let me back into the country. But look here, we're on our way. We'll leave out tomorrow. We're going to go. We'll come home. Because what happen. But these are issues that we have to deal with. These are issues that are really right now, while we deal with the hurricane, we have to pay some attention to. This is not about Venezuela, This is about Iran. This is about China. This is about Russia. This was never about Venezuela. And if you look now, Fox News out of the United States, also out of the reporting out of the White House around the President of the United States, we're hearing that this was never about Venezuela. It is about, and we have been saying that to you for years. This is about taking the Cold War from the South China Seas into the Caribbean waters. This is not about Venezuela. This is not about drug cartels. This is not about drug traffickers. This is not about human traffickers. This is about beating China, Russia, and Iran in the Caribbean. And that for us is not good. Not good for Caribbean waters. And let me just say one final thing on this. We must stop this foolishness about the Caribbean as a zone of peace. The Caribbean waters have never been a zone of peace. Never. Not from the days of the Taínos until this day. So stop with that foolishness. And that to me might very well be a deliberate counter-argument on the part of some to deflect from the fact that Caribbean people must stand up against what's happening in the Caribbean waters. And I say that without apology. And I see all those who are writing letters to the newspapers and all those who are writing commentaries and editorials that this is where you're going. But we are the survivors and the descendants of those who know that the Caribbean has never been a zone of peace from Christopher Columbus until today. So that is not an argument. Stop with it. This is not how we're going to deal with the biggest army that is amassed in the Caribbean waters that's pointing at us. And another thing, I know it's a final thing, but one final thing. Here is it. You also have a situation where hurricane relief is coming in. And why are we getting hurricane relief in warships? Was so much soldier ago with hurricane relief? I know Jean Binterbree says aid comes with a bomb. And it looked like the aid to us as a result of Hurricane Melissa is coming with military support. We want to know them soldiers that they who come in with the military support and why we have Black Hawk coming in with military support is a whole heap. I hope something saying if I come back to Jamaica, so let me leave it until we reach Jamaica. But we're really, really, really concerned about this. And we can't be so glad for aid, because sometimes we're so happy to get the aid that we accept our own demise. I'm just saying. Anyway, we're coming to you live from Sierra Leone. Welcome on the 107s, 107.1 all the way to 107.9. Welcome on the internet at irfm.net. Welcome to you on Flow Channel 822, on DigiPlay, on your mobile apps, however you're listening to us this morning. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us inside of the Africa Forum. Shane, do we have a break? I know I went on a bit there.
Prono.
All right.
Radio.
All right, we're back with you live from Sierra Leone. Thank you so much for joining us inside of the Africa Forum. And my very special guests around the Black Brown table is right now Emmanuel Suma from the Office of the Minister of Tourism and Culture, Hindira Ramato Kamara from the Sierra Leone Institute of Theatre. Is this subvented? Subvented agency under the Cultural Directorate, Secretary General. And then we also have, and they've been with us all morning, Hawanato Favor Sise. And she's also from the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, the Assistant Director of Tourism. They're pretty tired, because we have a group here that's been working non-stop. And this is around the clock, just preparing this, the pre-production, the production as things are happening, and then the post-production. And I've seen them. They're working really, really hard. This is tripling up work. So you're working hard like Jamaicans. This is something else. All right, let me go to you, Emmanuel. What's your main task in all of this massive production that's been going on for the last few weeks?
So really, I cannot lay a finger on one particular task. It's been very general. So when we started, of course, I'm a part of the planning committee when this whole idea came into being.
Wow.
So as part of that, the planning from the very inception of the idea onto its fruition.
Wow.
Yes, as part of that. But I had played different roles, and I continue to play different roles as the program. As the program continues. So today they're headed to Bonds Island. I was just there trying to coordinate as well.
You were at Bonds Island this morning?
No, not Bonds Island. I went to see Coach. They're about to leave.
Okay.
So I was there trying to coordinate things and all of that. So we've been playing all kinds of roles. Pest control.
Yes.
At Radisson Blue, protocol, everything.
We see you. In Jamaica, we call you a head cook and bottle washer. We see you because we saw you from day one at the airport. The entire team that's here, actually, and every step of the way. not just with us, but also with the production itself. So this is like crazy work. Thank you so much for that. All right. So you talk about the inception of this brilliant project that's underway right now. How challenging has it been? Because you have people from all over.
It's been very, very tedious. Very tedious. As I said, I want to believe that I must have discussed this with you. This is actually the first time that the Ministry of Tourism, or indeed any other ministry, is taking up a project of this scope, of this magnitude. Most times it's just the private sector. And even there, I don't think you've taken it to this length, the length that we've taken it to, because we've never had this many international artists coming to Sierra Leone, about 11 of them coming to Sierra Leone, and then we also had to include the local reggae artists as well. So it's huge. It's can get to an.
I can imagine, because for the system to, it's almost like a test of a system, with all these artists that you have to house, plus all the other people that you have to house, including media, etc., international media.
It's been very, very difficult. And as a young person, I'm 24, so this is all.
24, it's 24, I better listen, I work hard enough.
This is new. It's a new experience, because I've always been sort of nerdy. This is foreign terrain.
Yes.
Entertainment is foreign terrain, but upon getting to know the minister, getting to work for her, well, this is tourism. Tourism is about entertainment.
Yeah. And Minister Nabila Tunis, she is also a really serious worker.
Right.
And what she really loves reggae music. That we've seen that, where she knows every dance and look just like how we look. But talk to us a little bit about her own thinking. And I know you can't talk on her behalf, but you're representing the ministry all. But her thinking behind ensuring that this all come together and this serious connection with the Jamaican artists.
The minister, as you've said, I must speak to her energy levels. I've never seen somebody as energetic as she is.
Neither me.
She would send a text at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. There are times I would ask her, when do you sleep? I don't think she's had 4 hours of rest a day in throughout this process since October, the ending of October, because that was when things really peaked to now, maybe November 30th. So she's never really rested. She's somebody who's big on inclusivity. She wants to bring everybody on board. That's what she wants to do. She wants to put Sierra Leone on the map, and she's exploring ways. So this year, the theme is Year of Ecotourism, and the motto, really, if you would call it that, is connecting culture, community, and conservation. So with the 3 C's. So we're trying to connect cultures, not just within Sierra Leone, but without Sierra Leone, outside of Sierra Leone. And the best way, I think, to do that is to look at cultures that with whom we share a lot. And the Caribbean community, as you know, we share a lot with them, tracing back as far as the transatlantic slave trade, which is why, in fact, they had bonds. Bonds used to house, at different periods, over 30,000 slaves. So she's trying to create that connection, trying to bring people on board, which is why she had as many artists as we did.
Yes, from Trinidad, because you have representative from Trinidad, and obviously from Jamaica. I'm not quite sure from any other Caribbean, but definitely there's a representation from Trinidad and Jamaica, and from continental Africa.
Yes, from continental Africa, and we had the local reggae artists, really.
Yes.
Because most times they look down upon. They're seen as, well, these are idlers. Dreadlocks is seen as a characteristic of idling around, just sitting by, and But the minister said, I think this has to change. So in August, we did something, it was just a preliminary, just to test the waters. In August, we had a reggae festival, but it was not this huge. It was done in a closed facility. But it was just to test the waters. And November, we said, we can't do this, and we should take it to crazy levels. And I think
you did.
We did.
And it worked.
It did work.
Yes.
It worked. We had a few assholes here and there. This is typical of every other show.
Yes.
But then we were able to surmount the challenges.
Right. It really, and it's still ongoing. My sister, Hawanato, in terms of what the ministry plans, what has happened before, and then what's still to come, and then kind of broaden this out to tell us what the plans the ministry has to not just to continue this, but that's already in train.
The Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs is responsible for transforming Sierra Leone into the most attractive and competitive destination. Our Honorable Minister, Honorable Nabila Tunis, we started it with Tourism for All campaign, wherein we go to a different districts. We tell them about domestic tourism, awareness raising about domestic tourism.
And what is domestic tourism?
Like, for example, you've never been to Freetown, you leave Bo to come to Freetown. When you come to Freetown, you visit so many places, like the pristine beach that we have, the coastal area. The beaches, different activities. And we also went to another places where we can identify our cultural unique things. Like, for example, if you want to go to Kailaon, you have the history, even of the war, where they kill Rambo, all those areas. So we went to all those places to see what we have, the unique thing that we have from those districts. So when tourists came to the country, they will know what you want, what your interest. We took you to those places. So we did all that for Tourism All campaign. So each month they have their theme. Each month there will be like explore. We go and explore places, see different places. We explore. We look for new things. Then culture. A whole month, all of us, we wear our costume because we know that most of the culture, this Western cloth that people are wearing. So we want them to tell them that our culture, our cloth, like for example, the one that Madam Woki was wearing, our taggers, because we don't want them to die, out. So we go to those places, we go to the offices will tell them, because tourism is a multi-sectorial. We coordinate with other ministries. We can't walk alone. So we do all that. We go to our monumental area, we visit those places. Then we see how we can get new SMEs, like Madam Woki. They are one of our SMEs, and she did a lot for us, tourism. She trained about 1,500 women in tiger dye.
She was talking, in batik and tie-dye and just making
that is fabric. For tourism for all. That was last year. We have different activities from January to December.
Yeah. So there's a focus on developing tourism, but developing tourism so that the people benefit and that the people are involved.
Exactly.
Do not make the mistake that Jamaica is making with tourism. And I say that with the most sincerity, to say that Jamaica is a focus on tourism is more Western minded. And it's something that needs to change. And I hope that Sierra Leone can even begin to impact that, because I heard the minister said at the launch that she's been speaking with the tourism minister in Jamaica and also the culture minister, so with Ed Bartlett and with Babsy Grange, so that what I see happening here in the development of tourism is that it's the thinking for Sierra Leone and through the minister is, let's do this with the people, for the people, and by the people. That's what's missing in the Jamaican tourism product. So we're coming to you live from Sierra Leone. And Sierra Leone, if you will, reminds me of Jamaica in the early 80s, right? And this is to say, at the cusp of developing everything, tourism, entertainment, the industries, and so on and so forth. So also Ghana, it reminds me of Ghana in the early 90s, which is that Ghana was on the cusp of developing into something much, more, not necessarily modern, but embracing some of modern technology. Now, Ghana has developed beyond Jamaica. And when we went there in 92, we were more developed. And I see where Ghana has grown in a very serious way. And I'm seeing the very same kinds of situation that Sierra Leone is poised for this kind of development as we go around the country and so on. So what I find interesting is what you've been saying to us, my sister, Anawatu, which is how tourism is being developed, which is, say, domestic tourism, even while reaching out to us in the diaspora. One of the things I'd like to kind of underscore, even as I know that people from the Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Culture are listening to this program right now in Jamaica, and it's that Africa represents an area that we can cooperate with on tourism. We see that happening right here today. But we came at the invitation of government, but there is no government to government kind of cooperation. So let's see what happens later. All right. So from here, in terms of what's left for this period, what are we looking at? Because the stage show is gone. We've been here for 2 weeks. What's the next plan?
So we're done with the festival. So of course we'll have to do some post-mortem of the festival generally. That will be maybe in a week's time, or maybe next week. It should be next week. We just look at the highs, the lows, what could have been remedied, what failed, what didn't fail, the lapses, those sort of things. So we would have to look at that. But December generally in Sierra Leone is a period of to just enjoy, which is why a festive season, people different.
This time of year is a festive, yeah, because you move into Christmas.
So that is why, in fact, it was very intentional on the part of the minister to organize it in November, because Sierra Leone, most people in the diaspora only come to Sierra Leone in December. So if you look at the calendar, you would notice that tourism, international tourism, I mean, peaks in influence of the country peaks in April and December, because those are the two odd periods. These are the two periods. April, independence, people tend to come in a lot of celebrations. The same happens in December. But then there is a vacuum. May, June, July, August, especially during the rains, people don't come into Sierra Leone. So it was intentional. We are trying to send a message that you can come to Sierra Leone at any time and enjoy. So it was intentional on the part. And we didn't do it also because we didn't want to clash with the private sector. Because the minister has got a private sector-led approach to things. This is our fourth ministry. And everywhere she goes, she brings. But this is foreign affairs planning. Those are sort of just strict in nature, but tourism is sort of loose in some sense, flexible. So she's bringing that on board because government cannot do everything. Government cannot support everything. So we want the private sector to be involved. So that's what we're doing. I want to believe you must have heard that 50% of the proceeds will go toward the cultural village, the development of cultural village. So that's all part of the plan. We're trying to look at how we can commence developing that. We want to ensure that we have different countries. She made the announcement at the launch that we'll be having a particular section dedicated to Jamaica, and we're inviting every other person to express an interest and a willingness to. And
this is really great because that announcement took so many of us by surprise. I think even Professor Rosalie Hamilton, when we heard that that land was made available for Jamaica to participate in the development of this cultural village, and also another announcement that was made, land was granted to Sizzla Kalonji. So talk about that a little.
Oh yes, so land was granted, as you know. It was shocking to you.
Yes,
it was shocking to us.
It wasn't shocking to you at all.
Because it was all part of the plan. So as she said, we want to bring everybody on board. We want to. This is in effect we're rolling out a bridge.
Yes.
As you've said, there is a kind of a missing link.
There is, yeah.
There is a missing link between the Caribbean.
Because you're saying that Sierra Leone is a gateway.
It's a gateway.
Yeah.
It's always been a gateway.
Yes.
Even during the transatlantic slave trade, we have the second, I think, largest natural harbor in the world. So, of course, it's always been a gateway. And it will remain so. But we want to ensure that we bring about that link. We know there's a lot that can be gained from the Caribbean. We don't want to cherry pick here.
Yes.
Everyone can be a tourist, and we're reaching out to everyone. But in particular, those with whom we share a common heritage. So that's precisely what we're doing.
Right.
And it's an exercise in that. It's part of that broader effort. Giving the land to Sizzla. Sizzla is the crown prince of the Maroon community. We have the Maroons here. You were taken to the church.
Yes.
We want the Jamaicans to come. We want the Trinidadians to come. We want people from Bahamas, people from Barbados, people from everywhere to come.
To come to Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is open. It is, as you said, it is the gateway into Africa. Another announcement that was made at the launch by Minister Tunis is also that 20% of the proceeds from this event here would go to hurricane relief in Jamaica, and that was also shocking. But really, it was touching because we're like Sierra Leone, and to hear her make that commitment, that was a big deal for us. Just sitting in the audience to say 20% of the proceeds will go to hurricane relief. And once again, she said she's been in conversation with both Minister Grange and Minister Bartlett. So that's out there. That's already made the news in Jamaica. In terms of what next year will look like, do we know yet? Because I know you're going to do the post-planning and post-mortem and so on, but do we know?
Well, I think in terms of the spirit and the motivation, it will remain the same. Inclusivity, bringing people on board. I cannot speak to the composition of artists for now. Of course, we still a year.
Yeah. Well, Chris Martin says that he's going to be back, so I better put him on the thing.
Everyone is eager to come. Everyone is eager to return.
Yeah, his manager told me yesterday, because while he was performing, he fell off stage, and he was taken to the hospital. He did the x-ray. I spoke with his manager at Kingsley. He told me that it was soft tissue damage, nothing too serious, even though he limped off stage. And he loves Sierra Leone. He loves the concert. And he's definitely coming back next year. And he don't want to make no big deal of the little fall when fall. So nobody to tap about the fall when fall. And know that he loves Sierra Leone and he will be back next year. So remember, can't say I didn't tell you. You already know who's on the lineup. Yes. One at least, Christopher Martin. So that's quite something. So let's not spend too much time talking about the fall. Kingsley told me this is not something we want to talk about. It was a faulty stage. Yes. Just so that you know, it was a faulty stage. But there's something that Sierra Leoneans, this is what you did for the first time, and something that you do not know about the Jamaican artists is that them jump.
Yes.
And so for the whole night, there was jumping. Yeah. Jumping. So I'm not blaming the artists, but I'm not, because Christopher wasn't jumping. Right. But there was a whole lot of that leading up to him. Right. So. Yeah. Yes. So there is that.
By the time he came up the stage has been so weak for him.
And it is that way because what have we learned now? We learned, when you're building a reggae stage show, a stage for a reggae stage show, you build the stage firmer, right? That's basically what we learned from this. Okay. And this is what Christopher, but his manager told me also to say, no, it's this is not something, a reflection on Sierra Leone at all.
We're happy to hear that, because that one really, really moved us. She was crying.
I know, I saw.
Yes, she was crying. I was in the background saying, what is this? A whole show. But thank God for that. Thank God for that. And we do hope to receive you people probably by next year, because I think this thing we want to do is going to be annual every year.
Yes.
I think.
I hope.
I'm not saying this.
I'm working with your thinking.
Yes, it's going
to be Jamaicans already saving for this. Yes. So only better not postpone it next year.
Yeah.
Right. So it's Jamaicans already. I've had many Jamaicans reaching out to me even before we came to say, we are on the strip next year. So we're already planning for November next year. So please hurry up and tell us a date.
Oh my God. Thank God for that. Yeah. Because before this particular show, like he was saying, it started in August. But before that, we went to Guinea, Conakry. That we just go over there to see how they are organizing theirs, because they did a festival too.
Okay.
Yes. Myself, Emmanuel, and some other crew.
Yeah, you went to that festival in Guinea.
Yes,
to see what and how they.
Yes, to see how they organize theirs and how we're going to do ours. Probably let's just link it to now set up. How we will invite the international artists, what they want to do, and get so many things from them.
Wow.
So with that, we'll bring it down to Sierra Leone. And that was.
And there you go. It was a brilliant show. Shane, do we have a break? Because I want to come back and talk about the stage show. As we come to you live.
15.
As we come to you live from Sierra Leone, just want to talk a little bit and to let you go, to talk a little bit now about the stage show itself. Because as I said, that was really something, I danced all night until I couldn't dance anymore. It was brilliant. So congratulations on that, on pulling that off, and for this being done the first time. It's a venue that could hold how many?
We're thinking 6 to 10,000 within that.
Oh, we heard 12,000.
It could, when it's really full, it could be 12. Because then most times we don't follow.
Yeah, and it's bursting at the sea. It was bursting at the sea. Was it like over full? Like
it was.
Yeah,
it was. It was over full.
We are still coming from the very day because we have pre-sales that we are selling like 2,200. Mm-hmm. That's for those we call that the early bird ticket.
Yes.
So after that, the tickets were just going up. You'll sell that ticket that you've been selling for 200. You leave it sell it 500,000.
Wow.
And when we are coming, so a gentleman who was running after us, I was in her car. Wait. I saw your poster. Please, where can I have the ticket? Where can I have the tickets? You see, so many people were coming, and the line was so. When you enter, it was jam packed.
The traffic was something else. Yes. The line to go in was something else. But it's still, it was so calm and just moved so. And
people were underestimating it, but the moment they saw you the international artists that came, because probably there are times that they will say, this person is coming. And that was just to build up people to come to be fraud. Mm-hmm. So the moment they saw Christopher Martins and those big artists and
Queen African, Sizzler,
everybody keeps saying, now I know this is girl. Now my phone was just buzzing that day.
Wow.
And I was blushing. India, where can I have tickets? For real?
Because they waited until the artists came in. To be 100%, and then it was a day off the show that they were calling for tickets. But you'd have been sold out by then.
No.
You weren't sold out.
The tickets
at the gate.
There were tickets at the gates.
Yeah, but that line was long.
Silence believe in paying cash and receiving what they paid for. So there were tickets at the gates, and it's not just the local, like the ordinary man. There were ministers there. The former head of UNIDO was there. Mm-hmm. Who is now the head of energy and food security in the country, Dr. KKY. A lot of ministers were there in attendance. The former electoral commissioner was there. A lot of people were there. So I think it speaks to the power of reggae music. Mm-hmm. So of course, there's an acceptance of reggae, but people did not think we were going to pull it off. After Amara Kaba was really popular and then he died, reggae has not really gotten that steam. So this is again an exercise to just try to sort of reignite that steam. So it's about everyone. Everybody was there. From all class of people, every class of people.
You pulled it up. And the young people came out in droves.
We didn't really expect young people to come out. Gen Zs, I'm Gen Z myself.
Yes.
We tend to just gravitate toward Afrobeats and the Burna Boys and the Remas. So really did not anticipate that kind of attendance from the Gen Zs. But then the minister, speaking about a level of thinking, she knew. Because when she would have conversations with us, she's got about 7 of us, Gen Zs, young people, and she would say, would bring it up to her, we don't think this would gain steam among our demographic. And she would say, no, you just wait.
And she was right.
And she was right, perfectly right.
And I think there's so much appeal to Gen Z. I mean, what I heard and saw when Christopher Martin was on stage, for example, in terms of the Gen Z response, I was shocked because every single Christopher Martin song, those Gen Zs, including Familika Waneso, was singing like crazy. And me, if you look on us, but me don't know that one day. But in Sierra Leone, every single person, Gen Z specifically, was singing to Christopher Martin songs.
Let Her Go.
If that particular music was, oh my God, they know every single line.
Every single line?
Yeah, when they go to school, they'll sing it. Like it's very romantic. You know this children now? They'll sing it for their...
Yes, I saw that.
So they were all waiting. In fact, we were all waiting for that particular music, and we know that was his last music for that night.
Yes,
that he got the accident.
Yeah.
Yes, just so that you would notice that the list of the catalogue of artists carefully curated to appeal to different
demographics and psychographics. I saw that. Queen Africa's Daddy Don't Touch Me There is such a well-known song here. That is crazy. Like everybody knows it. How come?
Well, actually, I didn't know she was the one who sang the song.
Yes.
I only got to know that when the plan came about that she was going to be one of the artists. And so, of course, we had to market how we had to say, this is the person who sang the song.
Yes.
And people listen to a lot of our songs, and a lot of Sizzler songs, for instance.
Yeah, we're going to come to Sizzler in a while. So Queen Africa really gave a masterful performance. And all of them did, Christopher Martin was brilliant on stage. Queen Africa was beautiful. The entire thing. And to me, what was really critical was the way the audience responded to both of them, to Queen Africa, to Chris Martin, and of course to Sizzler. But let us go to Sizzler, because we had a power outage, which is wont to happen in Sierra Leone. And, and it only happened once in the night. Right. And then that was out for how long? For about 45 minutes or an hour? And at the same time, we had that slight accident with Chris. But people waited, because you had thousands of people there, and they did not leave.
Yes. Well, I think if we would have told them to just wait for us, that announcement would have gone. To tell them, just give us 5 or 10 minutes, we'll fix everything. Because that was for Sizzler. One particular gentleman was saying, I am here for Sizzler, and I am not going till the morning. I must see him perform.
Yes.
And
that's what people, I know, I got that. Yes. Because people just go get something to eat, go use bathroom, and, and just waited until.
And we thank God for that, because at least
there
were people around when he was performing. There were a lot of people.
Oh, yes, man. I've been a minute. Yeah.
When I went there with King, because when the incident happened, I went to check on
Christopher.
To check for
Sizzler,
King Kali.
Oh, King Kali. Yes.
So I went there. So I left them there. I came back to the place. Then I met Sizzler. He said, "I'm going to perform."
Of course.
I said, "What?" Full of energy.
I know.
Full of energy. When he came to the stage, oh my God!
Energy.
Wow again. Everybody was. It's like we've just started the show.
Yes. Yeah. I turned to one of the members of the delegation. It might have been Dwayne, I think, or Diana. But I said, even if no electricity comes back and there's no generator, Sizzler is going to come keep Naya Bingi. So it's going to happen. We'll just wait, because he's going to come on stage. He's disciplined like that. So I knew that he would. And then he performed, and they wouldn't let him go. That's another thing that happened. The audience just wouldn't let him go, and he kept performing and performing and performing. It was quite something. It was beautiful. And then what time did it end?
About 7, going to 7. 7 o'clock.
So
programs don't usually last that long in Sierra Leone, because there were people with thin patience, very thin patience.
Yeah.
But that one was an outlier, because normally it's about 4 latest people are gone.
Yes.
But people waited till about 5:30 when Sizzler's performance commenced, and it was crazy, because I was at the backstage trying to set things up, and then I saw that he was performing. I was shocked. And I think it speaks to his discipline. I didn't know he was that.
Oh, he's highly disciplined.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it was glorious. People waited. A lot of people waited.
Yes.
And people were waiting
Thousands
for him.
waited. Yeah.
People were waiting for him. Thousands of people. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Really, and we have to thank God and we have to thank him again for the composure. Because any other person would have been thrown off balance.
Yeah.
With what happened.
Yeah.
But he waited and he brought such energy.
Yeah.
Remarkable energy.
True. You know, it was really a beautiful evening for the One Nation Reggae stage show that took place at the Radisson Blue Gardens at venue that could hold 12,000. And believe me, people really, really turned out. It was bursting at the seams. And, you know, Queen Africa, Christopher Martin, Sizzler, all top of their games. We had our sister Makeda. Something happened in terms of the lineup, right? So I have to talk quickly about Makeda, who's a young artist out of Jamaica who really took the stage by storm. And she did it at a point when people were waiting to see Christopher Martin, right? And didn't even know her name. And then when she came out, that was masterful. I had to hug her. I said, brilliant, because to do that under that amount of pressure, that was quite something. Your thoughts on that?
It was, I was shocked. I was surprised. I was standing in front when she was called upon.
Yes.
I didn't know she would get that time. So I knew she was going to perform, but not the person who was going to
because she's performing between Queen Africa and Chris Martin.
I didn't know she was going to get that spot. But then again, we had to adapt. Time management. So definitely she had to perform. That was part of the plan.
She did very well. I mean, she was master.
I didn't know. When we first met, I didn't know she was even a singer.
Yeah.
She's got a remarkable voice. Mm-hmm. And she's got an even more remarkable stage presence.
And she held conversation. She was talking Creole.
And to think that people didn't even know her prior to a performance.
Yes.
And then she used the phrase that I first showed to her when we were in the bus.
You gave her what was it again? What did she say?
So what it really means is that you only get to have a feel of Sierra, the dynamism of its people at night.
Yes.
During the parties, the festivities.
So she used that.
And she used it. And I loved.
I'm telling you, that was she's a masterstroke. And to me, look out for Makeda. Jamaica, look out for Makeda, our young sister from Jamaica. She performed between Queen Africa and Christopher Martin when the crowd was shouting for Chris Martin.
And they were all going.
We want
Chris. We want
That's what they were saying. And she came on stage at that time.
Yes. Because for some people, by that time that they were shouting, we won, because that would have put her down.
Yes.
But she did not go down for no one.
We would be, I would be afraid to go.
She was encouraging the audience.
Yes.
She was playing a role with the audience. Like before she started singing.
Yeah.
But that's it. We're in the theater. That was what she was doing.
Yes.
We engaged the audience.
Oh, yes. So that's Sierra Leonean in itself.
Yeah, we engaged the audience.
Because I said that to her. I said, you engage the audience. I use that very term. I said, they were literally eating out of your hand. So that's brilliant, considering they were waiting for Chris Martin. You were a filler, but she did well. Full of energy.
Full of energy all over the stage.
So we have to talk about that. Listen, we're going to wrap this segment. Just to say thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate your time. I know you're very, very tired. And this is a sacrifice for you. Emmanuel, thank you for coming. You were with us. We appreciate that. And thank you so much, sister, because we call you Hawa Natu. Thank you so much, my sister Hindira. And we look forward to coming next year again. And before we leave, I can get some food.
Yeah.
But this is live on the air, by the way.
There's food.
There's food. What's the food? Let me see what's the food. Shane, don't break until we look what's on the food. Make us see what's in the food. We could just talk about the food before them leave. Okay, so quick and tell me. Carry come. So, Shane, we'll take the break. Give me a minute. So what do we have in the food?
We have chips.
Okay.
Potato chips.
Chicken is for she. Kitchen is for Nia, my engineer, technical operator, and producer, Shane. Shane, me sorry you can't get none of this. I can't carry none for you either. But it is what it is. So, what else? What do we have there?
Fish.
Okay.
Fish and plantain.
So am I think the plantain. Oh, that's mine. Plantain without meat.
It's grilled fish.
Or grilled fish. And lots of plantains. Look at plantain. Thank you so. And it smells good too, you know, man. And what's that over there? That's chicken. Wow. Yeah, this is good. And pepper that? Pepper sauce. I love pepper, yes, I know. No, so I keep the pepper to myself. Now, anyway, we're going to take a break. As you go, Shane, we have food like crazy from Sierra Leone. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we're coming to you live from Sierra Leone. And we are here at the One Nation Reggae Festival. A very pleasant morning to you listening on the 107s, 107.1 all the way to 107.9 on the internet at irfm.net. Thank you so much for listening on Flow Channel 822 on DigiPlay. We were expecting to be joined by Mansa Fode Ajuma of the UNIA ACL here in the Assistant President General here in Sierra Leone, but we haven't seen him yet. Not quite sure if he'll be able to make it in time. But just also to say today, there is a visit to the to Bunce Island, and this is basically where Africans were kept enslaved. Similar to Gorée or to Elmina or Cape Coast. Bunce Island is a bit different. It's an island, a small island out in the middle of the ocean, just off Sierra Leone, Freetown. And it has the remains of the dungeons and the some of those buildings that they were used to keep enslaved Africans. So that is the big thing on the agenda right now. Just before I say, I tell you what else has happened. Just quickly to say hello to my brother Jawari Akhenaton, and to my brother Marvin Wong. Thank you so much, because they were also instrumental in ensuring that this trip happens, that we literally get to Sierra Leone and get to Sierra Leone in time. Thanks also to IRFM, of course, under the serious challenges that we were facing out of the hurricane in terms of just ensuring that the coverage was right, that IRFM was involved in the hurricane relief, and we see all of that happening there. That when the focus was on Hurricane Melissa, that IRFM was still able to say, let us honor the commitment we have made to Sierra Leone. So thank you so much to IRFM for that. The One Nation Reggae Festival, Freedom Heritage Tour. I can give you a quick idea just before we go into the Supreme Ventures draw as just some of what we've done before. So quickly, the Heritage Tour took us through some of the minutest details of our African experiences as woven into freedom. And so we've seen so far the cotton tree. The cotton tree is very integral to Sierra Leone's culture. It tells of the resilience, the cultural and spiritual journey draped in the African and the environmental experience, unity. It's a landmark. There's a massive cotton tree that's in the center of the town. And this is a landmark where the Nova Scotian African returnee settlers who were believed to evoke freedom and held the first Black Baptist church mass on the continent in 1792. It was led by David George, who was formerly enslaved in Virginia. The African pioneers that came to this settlement from North America, from Jamaica, they believed that this land aligned with the practice of total liberation. And so you have people like Thomas Peters and Nathaniel Wanze, who initiated the earliest revolution in Freetown. There's also the St. John Maroon Church, and that is in the center of town also. Well, a little bit of a center. And it was founded after the Second Maroon War, 1795 to 96. 500 Africans who had resisted colonization and were exiled to Nova Scotia in Canada and later deported to Sierra Leone. So that spot designated in 1787 as a province of freedom. Then there's also the gateway to the old King's Yard, the Abolition Act 1807. That is a landmark here. The watering place. We've been there, the waterfront where King Jimmy Market is today. Important in the space for contact, for commerce, and for the abolition and the freedom of Africans on the island. Thomas Peters, African pioneer, military serviceman. Part of that tour included the Thomas Peters Stone and so on. And so much more. Sierra Leone Peace Museum, as we talked about earlier, the Peace Museum, which spotlight the war, but also the peace, right? It is a significant medium to educate the public and visitors on the 11-year civil war and the collective resolve of the people of Sierra Leone to accept peace, social cohesion, and a map for the future. So that's there. It is a hard place to visit. So much to see there, but it's a place of hope at the same time, a memorialization of the carnage that happened in the war. We've been to the university here also, the Sierra Leone University, and the original old Foray Bay College building. Spent some time at the primary school, also passed by the kindergarten school. And today, as I said before, where the focus is on Bounce Island. So we're going to take a break and throw it back to Shane's. A few things we're going to do too. We're making way for the Supreme Ventures draw at 8:30. And then right after that, we go into the rebroadcast of an interview I did with Uncle Jimmy ClIFF back in 2017. And then you come back to me right here in Sierra Leone just after 9 o'clock.
Pot draws. Kabu is in Sierra Leone, and you heard her say that we'll be going to that Jimmy ClIFF interview that was done in 2017 in the period of the Lifetime Achievement Award from IRFM to Jimmy ClIFF. And so, without further ado, we will go to that interview.
Dr. Jimmy ClIFF, thank you so much for joining us on the Africa Forum.
Oh, it is my pleasure, Kabu. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for joining us. I'm telling everybody you gave me permission to call you Uncle Jimmy ClIFF, and I'm still working on it. But it's coming, because when we're doing this interview, it's going to be Dr. ClIFF for this morning. But thank you also for calling. I think that we were being sabotaged, but here you are. We appreciate that. Yes, I think that's what it is. Yes, not at all. All right. Wow. I mean, all of Jamaica is really, really waiting with bated breath to see you on the 12th, to be part of this event, which is the IRFM's Lifetime Achievement Award presented to you. But I know you, I've spoken to you, and I think I'm getting a feel of who you are, which is, yes, this Lifetime Achievement is going to you, but the focus you want is to be on the nation, on Somerton in particular, on the school, but also on other issues which you are very, very concerned about. And that issues such as identity, culture, the music, where we're going. And we want to get into some of those issues this morning, Dr. ClIFF. But first, to talk about Somerton and this small community. All right. Wow. I mean, all of Jamaica is really, really waiting with bated breath to see you on the 12th, to be part of this event, which is the IRFM's Lifetime Achievement Award presented to you. But I know you, I've spoken to you, and I think I'm getting a feel of who you are, which is, yes, this Lifetime Achievement is going to you, but the focus you want is to be on the nation, on Somerton in particular, on the school, but also on other issues which you are very, very concerned about. And that issues such as identity, culture, the music, where we're going. And we want to get into some of those issues this morning, Dr. Cliff. But first, to talk about Somerton and this small community which has given birth to somebody like yourself. How important is Somerton to you?
Somerton is my backbone. It's my nearest stream cut there.
Yes.
You know, at that point in time, there was there was no hospital. So, you know, the nurse, they call out the nurse when your mother is ready to give birth and to come. So, you know, Somerton is so important to me. I've learned all my lessons of growing up there. I never left Somerton to come to Kingston until I was about 12 years old. So, you know, that's my formal formation of as a being, as an artist, as a man. You know, and searching for my identity. They were all formed there before I came to Kingston.
Mm-hmm. And you're also pointing us to Adelphi land as also significant, because in terms of where you were actually born, very near in the same area, but in terms of identifying the area, you were actually born in Adelphi land.
Yes, Adelphi land is where I was born, and you know, there are many surrounding areas, but that's the spot where I was born, and it's on your program now that we're disclosing that. I never disclosed that before.
Okay. Well, here we have it first. but it's really pretty close. It's Somerton, I suppose, is a bigger name for that entire area. We spoke with the principal.
Exactly.
Yes, we spoke with the principal of the Somerton All Age and Infant School this morning, and really he really warmed my heart just talking about the school, what the school has achieved over the years, and the caliber of persons who have come through those gates, those classroom doors. You, of course, being one of them. Can you recall your favorite memory of Somerton at school in Somerton, at Somerton All Age and Infant School?
Okay, well, back in those days, we had knowledge of, they gave knowledge of gardening. We had to do agricultural work. So you learn how to plant things, grow things. Then we had knowledge of woodwork. You had to learn how to make things by hand. And so it wasn't only academics. And those lessons of the variety of things that I learned as a child, they have become so valuable to me now. It was a great fun days of my life, you know, running to the river, going up in the hills of Adelphi land, cooking with my friends in the days and sitting and eating, going back to school. I sold newspaper, and when I started to take what we called lessons at that time, lessons like I wanted to take first year, second year, third year, but it's what we would probably call A-levels now, and that.
Yes.
And but during those times, I had to go sell my newspaper and run back to school and catch it up and that, and you know, so it was great fun time for me.
Yes, wow, sounds that way, and I think there are some lessons in there for younger, especially young boys, because you talk about getting back to school, but part of your chores and was selling newspapers, and it was more than chores, because obviously if you're doing this is also a way of making a livelihood.
Exactly.
Yes. So
exactly, you know, I wasn't privileged to, like, you know, today I might be able, you know, a parent might be able to give a pocket money to your child. In those days, I earned it. And so I'm glad for that lesson to,
yes.
you know, had to earn it.
Because I didn't know that was something that we used to do back in the day, where we, you know, young boys were selling newspaper. It sounded more like an American thing, but so how did it work?
It it wasn't something common. My father took on the responsibility of being an agent for the Gleaner and the Star, which was the only newspaper existing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to be the vendor, reluctantly. So I learned about economics, because if I sold off my 100 newspaper or whatever, and one half a penny is missing, I could not leave out of the house until I gave account where did that half a penny go. So I learned, great lessons from those things, yeah. So it was like that. It wasn't like a normal thing that lots of boys did. I said reluctantly I did it because my father made me do it.
Mm-hmm. But there's still a lesson there, because here you are.
Oh, big one, big time.
And we see so many of our young men now. I've been having conversations with a lot of young men who are going to school now, and the idea, the mentality of, and we do have some ones who are looking closely at the academics and achieving and so on, and the creative ones. But I know, generally speaking, we now have the get-rich-quick mentality among our young people, boys and girls. That is, we talk about the millennials, and we see there's this impatience to make money, not so much for success, but to make money. And this is one of the reasons I'm saying there are some lessons there to learn from a Dr. Jimmy Cliff, who has come out of the rural community and looking back, saying to us, "This is what I had to do, reluctantly, but I did."
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yes, there's great lessons to be learned, because to want to make money in this time in a quick way, it's how the society is geared now with technology. If you watch some of the videos, all the foreign videos and whatnot, they are portraying you have to have a big car, you have to have that, you have to have that, and so the lessons that is pumped to the youths is a lesson to get that. They don't tell you how you're going to get it, but you just see that and okay, that is the thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like false. And the natural way of life is you grow and you work and you get the things and acquire the things. You make your plans, what you want to do. I had my plans to go to Kingston to become a singer, but I had to do all of those things in summertime, which built me up for the time when I get to Kingston. And that's natural ways of life.
And this, Dr. Cliff, is what I want to talk to you about also, because we spoke with your good friend Lenny Little White this morning, and he told us one thing he can recall about you as both of you growing up together as young boys, is that you've always wanted to sing. And I said to him that, so it's no surprise then that you wouldn't be surprised to say that Jimmy Cliff actually realized his dreams and is still realizing his dreams in terms of what he wanted to do, broadening it, of course. But what made you, this was your dream as a child, what was the thing that made you so persistent that you achieved, you did not let go of that dream?
I was good academically, but I had to be challenged. So, but what I was very comfortable at, anything to do with the arts.
Yes.
Whether it be drawing, whether it be pottery, whether it be acting, whether it be singing, all of those things, I wake up. So it's just a natural thing inside of me. I knew that's what I wanted to do. My family were churchgoers, Pentecostal church. I had to go. And but the dream, I remember singing at the church, and I said, "Oh, this little boy, come up there and sing like that." The church get full. And I said, "Wait, something happening here. I have something." But prior to that, in the school, when I was in about just before first form, I was in a classroom one day singing a song. And these girls walk inside and say, "Where is the radio?" Because radio was a big thing at that time.
Yes.
And I said, "There's no radio. That's me."
Yes.
These were girls that wouldn't look at me.
Yes.
And
well, they
so
heard
it was. So, wow, I have something here.
Yes.
So, this was a natural thing with me that I just know that I was born to do what I'm doing.
Yes. And then we want to talk about how you've been using that platform. But just before that, who were some of your influences, both early days in Somerton and then later on in terms of the music, those who influenced you?
Well, first of all, how I learned to write a song, I asked my woodwork teacher, Mr. Stewart. Mr. Stewart is still in Somerton today, but he doesn't teach anymore.
Yes.
I said to Mr. Stewart, I hear some songs on the radio and they say they're local artists like Derek Morgan and so on. How do you write a song? Mr. Stewart say, "You just write it." So, okay, I wrote it. I just wrote some songs and, wrote some songs like that. So there were people like Derek Morgan, Higgs and Wilson, when Higgs and Wilson broke up and then just became Joe Higgs later.
Mm-hmm.
All those people were ahead of me. There were the Blues Busters. I think they have crossed over now. Mm-hmm. All those people were ahead of me, doing local work. And so I was inspired by them. Then when I went to Kingston, there was people like Prince Buster and Monty Morris and all of those people were ahead of me. Mm-hmm. And so those local people were like the inspirations for me. And then I'm American artists like Ray Charles, Sam Cooke, Smiley Lewis. A lot of the blues and rock and roll people, were inspiring to me too.
Yes. There's so much I want to talk to you about.
Fats Domino was very inspiring.
Oh, yes, I can imagine that. Dr. Cliff, there's so much I want to talk to you about. You're going to be talking to me, Elise Kelly, and Muta. So our listeners who are asking, I'm getting a ton of questions to ask you here. So I'm just letting our listeners know that they'll hear more from you in interviews across IRIE FM. And we hope that you will be in the studio for one or two of those. But I also want to get to something else, because I know that you have a burning desire to talk to not just the nation Jamaica, but to talk to African people on a whole about the need to understand who we are. I know that one of your greatest concerns in terms of how you're even using your platform is identity. Who are we? Why are we here? And how are we here? Can we start there in terms of just looking at some of the issues which you yourself are pretty concerned about? That idea of defining ourselves. How important is it to define who we are?
Okay, let's look at it this way. Jamaica is a multicultural and racial country. If we call the people who we identify as Chinese, because we still call them Chinese,
yes,
because we know they're from China.
Yes.
We call the people who we know as Indians, we call them Indians, because we identify that they are from India. We call the Europeans, we call them white people.
Yes.
Because we know that they are from Europe. Mm-hmm. Now the only group of people, which is the majority in Jamaica, that would deny where they are from, they would want to say, I am this, I am that, I am that. If I ask a normal person in Jamaica, who are you? First thing they probably would tell me is their name. Mm-hmm. I said, but that's not you. Your name can be changed anytime. Mm-hmm. So, who are you? I said, who who you are is who you are by nature. You're an African.
Yes.
Because still, the Chinese will identify with their roots, the Indian will identify with their roots, the European will identify with their roots. Why are you running from your roots? You're running from your roots because you were programmed as a child, brainwashed as a child, that everything there black is bad.
Yes.
And in fact, it's the other way around. So, for a person to know there is a difference with who you are and what you are.
Yes.
What you are is what you've become or what you've allowed yourself to be. Who you are is who you are by nature. And who we are by nature, we are Africans, supreme beings. That's who we are.
Yes.
So,
Yes, go ahead.
the importance of that. Marcus Garvey said it. When you know who you are, there's nothing can stop you. And as African people, if you want to say descendants of Africa, because you say who you are, you say I'm a Jamaican. Yeah, you're born in Jamaica, but that's not who you are by nature. You see?
And the you're touching on the importance of that and pointing to Marcus Garvey also as identifying that as one of the most important things that we can questions that we can answer as African people. You also talk about the obstacles to understanding who we are. Can we look at some of those obstacles, Dr. Cliff? What are some of the obstacles? You talk about the brainwashing and so on. What are some of the obstacles, that's preventing us from identifying ourselves as who we are? Is shame a part of it? Embarrassment? Ignorance?
Ignorance, all of those. Mary had a little lamb. Fleece was white as snow.
Yes.
You learn that as a child.
Of course.
So his fleece, that is his skin, was white as snow. You look around, you see, it comes through the religion. To get straight to the point, it comes via the religion because Jesus, if you're a Christian, is white, according to all you see and hear and learn. Therefore, if Jesus is white, therefore his father must be white. His mother is white. The angels are white. The apostles are white. Anything connected to divinity in the Bible is white. You know, the only one that you read in the Bible is black. They call him the Prince of Darkness. That is the devil.
Yes, yes.
So, right away there is self-hatred created by a religion. So, you don't love yourself, and you don't love anyone that looks like you. So the religion is the root of the cause of the hatred of self. The Chinese, the Europeans, the Indians don't have that problem. The Africans are the ones who have that problem. So these are the obstacles. So now we have to know the right knowledge, the right wisdom, and the right understanding of who we are.
It's everywhere. It's in our curriculum. It determines the laws. It's the very thread that holds.
It's a spell of sleep. We've been placed under a spell of sleep, and the lock and key to the spell is the Bible. That's what locked the minds. So, the Bible goes back to Mesopotamia. You have to do your research.
Yes.
And somebody like me who, do my research because I wanted to know who I am.
Yeah.
I couldn't find myself in the Bible. Could not. As an African black man. The only place where I saw that was about Solomon and black and comely, and that was not Solomon speaking.
No.
That was a girl. She's saying, comparing herself. I am black and comely.
Yes.
Like
that was the Queen of Sheba speaking.
Yeah, well, you know, like the tents of Solomon and the tents of Kedar and the curtains of Solomon. Who is Kedar? Kedar is the second son of Ishmael, who was the first Arab through mixture of Ishmael and Abraham, when Abraham raped Agar, the black Egyptian woman. And Sarah said, drive her out into the desert. And if you go and you see how they treated Hagar. And now where this Kaaba is for the Muslims,
yes,
that's where they have all the seats of Abraham and Ishmael and all of that. However, I'm trying to break some of the keys here.
yes,
That's in the Bible and Quran, because they're all coming out of Mesopotamia. So the Jesusism, the Mosesism, and the Mohammedanism, they're all Abramism religion. Abram adopted or got the Zoroaster religion, who were fire worshippers. And also Hindu religion. And that is what they passed on. Now, thousands of stone tablets were found in Iraq, that's ancient Babylon.
yes,
With everything that is plagiarized from those stone tablets and put in the Bible today, names added, names taken out, stories put in different forms. So these are the things. It started in ancient Mesopotamia, and that is only 6,000 years old. The Bible is only 6,000 years old. And we, as Africans, were here, thousands, I said, were here millions of years before we built the pyramids, aligning it with Orion, the celestials, and Sirius A. We did all of that. So our story, the true story, is covered in the Bible. So that's the enforcer and the lock and key, the Bible, to open that. Because you start talking to the average person, everything they know, everything they understand is from the Bible. Only 6,000-year book.
And I think,
go ahead.
I think the way that you've really phrased this, it brings it home forcibly to all of us when you talk about the lock and the key on the mind, and the idea then is to open this, is to release this. You're pointing to knowledge of self through going forward, going back to go forward, which is to go forward to Africa as far as you can go, ancient Africa, the building of the pyramids and so on. This, though, because of this lock and key, because of this mental control that's on the minds of our people, how do we begin to break that? How do we begin to open that? When the very book that you talk about is held in such a high esteem, the Bible.
No, so it's not bad. We have to start reason. You see?
Yes.
And we have to reason together. Because look, take the first book of the Bible, Genesis. You look at Genesis, they say, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And so on. It goes down to verse 26, where it says, and he made man and gave man that. This man that was created, you have to look in the Concord Hebrew dictionary to find out the meaning of things, or the Greek Concord dictionary to find the meaning of words that they put there. For instance, when they say God created the heavens and the earth, if you read it in the Hebrew and look in the Concord dictionary, what it says in the Hebrew, it says Elohim. Elohim is plural. So right there it's telling you it's not one God. Elohim is plural, and it says these beings, those judges. Okay, so right away it's telling you that is not this. They have this concept that is one God. Say, do that, and poof, like magic, and everything happens. Things don't work like that. So, and again, if you it goes on. So we have to reason together and go to the root of things. It's in the words, in the words, in the language that all the things were written in. And I have to go back to ancient.
I like that you say that, how important it's in the words, it's in the language. I've been having some conversations here over the last few years about the importance of the language, because even for us as African people, we speak a language that is not our own. So that even in that language, we have denied ourselves, and we continue to denying ourselves. I remember speaking to Dr. Biwaji and his wife, for example, about the languages of Nigeria. And we were told then that even within the words, as you're saying now, is how you treat others. So a word comes with the kind of respect that you give to an elder, that you give to a child. So the nuances in the words themselves tell you who you are and how you are to treat each other. How important is it for us to reclaim, in the reclamation of our identity, in defining ourselves, to reclaim the language?
Okay, one of the ancient languages that the stone tablets in Mesopotamia, or ancient Babylon, was written on is cuneiform. And out of cuneiform came all the Middle Eastern tongues, such as Ugaric, Akkadian, Chaldean, Ashuric, Hebrew, Aramic, Syriac, Amharic, Ge'ez, Arabic, Sabian, Chaldean, and Nubian. All of these Middle Eastern languages came out of cuneiform. And the cuneiform came from ancient Egypt. We, ancient Egyptians, when I speak of ancient Egypt, it includes Ethiopia, Sudan, Uganda, and all those places, because if you look at ancient Babylon, the great cities was built by Nimrod, who's the son of Cush. Okay, so Cush tells you that he's black. So, these are the languages. You have to go into languages to understand. So when you go to the root of the things, so like what going back, when I go to the Bible again, the Old Testament was written in Hebrew, and the New Testament was written in
Aramaic?
No, the New Testament is in the Greek.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to go to the Concourse dictionary to find the root of the word, what they're telling you, what is what and what. Because even like with the Genesis, when it says it's the beginning, it was actually not the beginning, because if you look up Genesis in the Concourse dictionary, it's another word in Hebrew which tells you it's a reconstruction. So it wasn't the beginning, it was a reconstruction.
So yes, go ahead.
No, we just have to get to the root of things, and getting to the root of things is through the words. He said, and then go to the first book of the Bible in the New Testament. Say, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So let's go to the beginning of the Bible to see what was that Word. The Word was in the beginning. Elohim created the heavens and the earth. That's what it says in the beginning there. Mm-hmm. So you go to the beginning of the Bible to find what was the Word. And that word, we look up what is Word in Greek. It's called, it is said, spoken. Sound, words, spoken. So, it is not, what was happening there, it was a conversation. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just one word. It said, let there be light. It said God came down, the Spirit of God came down and moved upon the face of the waters, which was dark. And he said, let there be light. Him asking somebody for light. Who's he asking for light? He's not talking to himself. He said, give me some light, the man. It's dark down here.
Yeah.
He come down.
Yes.
He must have talked. He's talking to the other beings. Because don't forget, it's in the Bible again, where beings came down to this planet. So he was one of the first beings that came down to this planet and incarnated in flesh. So he said, light, no light, not down your man. Mm-hmm. Now, a thing to ask yourself is, if God knows everything that happens before, while it's going on and after, then before him come down, him no should have known say no light not down there. Mm-hmm. He should know that there is no light. So that's another question. So you can ask a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is, you have to go to the Word, the beginning of the things, the language that the things were written in, because we are here reading it in English, and we don't know the root of the things.
Yes.
And that's how we get to the facts, that we want to know the truth.
Yes.
We don't want to live by blind faith, but by facts. If I ask,
yes,
go ahead.
No, I want to hear the question.
No.
If
yes,
you're saying,
ahead, please.
all right. All right. So the religion, obviously, where we started, is a part of the problem. So explain to us your own views on how you see religion as opposed to Christianity, as opposed to spirituality.
Okay. Well, we all recognize that. We must recognize that we have a spirit. You know, we are way to look at life in ancient African way. We understand that there is a spirit in everything. Everything, every living thing.
Yes.
That there is a spirit in every living thing. So, is to understand the spirit, because we have a spirit and we also have a soul. Most people don't know the difference between that. The spirit is the you, the personality. The soul is the vehicle that will carry you and connect you to your etheric being once you cross over from this life. Mm-hmm. So there's a difference between your soul and your spirit. So it's a spirituality. You understand what's going on in all life that has spirit here on planet Earth and in the universe.
How have and to just to move from that, you say I'm in the universe, and I understand that in more than you probably even think. For your own self, Dr. Jimmy Cliff, you're getting to the point you are now. as a child of the universe, understanding yourself as an ancient, a spiritual being, understanding yourself at the beginning of time, at the beginning of the word, which is, who we are, the building of the pyramids and so on. What was the process like for you getting here? Did you mentioned the Pentecostal church, which I also went through. Did that journey? What was that process like? The journey, was it a churchical journey? How did you get to this place?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that. Okay, so like I said, I grew up in the church, and I started to question. One time I questioned the preacher, the pastor. I said, he was sick, so Father sent me to look for him. So I said, Elder, heaven is this beautiful place you think of, so why you don't just die and go there? Elder couldn't answer my question. Elder never answered my question.
Elder probably take your face straight.
Yes, he take offense to it.
Yes.
Take offense to it. So, okay, there's something wrong here. It's hell. They can't prove about this hell. They can't prove about this hell. So, okay, so I start move on. Then, a Rastaman in Summerton, first Rastaman, Brother Wren, start to walk in Summerton. I said, love again, brother man. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, a lot of Christians and, religious people were afraid of him. Mm-hmm. But me follow Brother Wren go bush, man. Brother Wren had started telling me about Africa and all them, everything we want to know. But I said, I am a Coptic and a theocracy. Mm. And he started to tell me that. So I want to know, what is this Coptic? Yeah. What is this theocracy? So I research again and find out, Coptic means hub. Mm-hmm. Like the hub of a bicycle wheel, yes, where all the spokes go out from.
Yes, yeah? Yes.
So, right. So, still, I leave, then I left Jamaica and I went to the UK. Before I went to the UK, I went to New York and I found one magazine called What the Muslim Want, Black Muslim. Mm-hmm. Elijah Muhammad Speaks.
Yes.
And so it was me and Prince Buster. And so we heard that Malcolm X was going to be teaching in Harlem there. So me and Prince Buster leave to go over there. By the time we reach there, we said, I'm shoot Malcolm X. Mm. But I read in that magazine what the Muslims want, what the Muslims believe, and all of that. So I dive into that too.
Yes.
Then after I dive into that, I left and I went to the UK. And I was kind of cut off from those two sources, which was Rasta and Black Muslim. Mm. So I went into, there was a lot of Black Power movements over there. So I went into all of those things. And then I even read Marx and Engels and,
yes,
searching for myself.
Yes.
Marx and Engels, yes.
Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm. And then I went to the Vatican. I walked out the Vatican, staying down there for about a week.
Wow.
I don't see myself in the Vatican. Mm-hmm. Some pure Caucasian people, some say, well, where me fit in? Still don't find where me fit in.
Yes.
So I continued on my journey. And after Elijah Muhammad passed away, I still started to find. I went to Sudan, I went to Ethiopia, and start to research things. And then I came upon the knowledge of ancient Egypt, that all the religions of the world, from Hinduism to Christianism, Judaism, Islamism, all of them came out of ancient Egypt.
Oh my!
And I said, okay. So I start to research ancient Egypt and how it related to ancient Babylon,
Yes.
which is Mesopotamia, located in Iraq. So that's, in a nutshell, my journey.
Wow. Uncle Jimmy. It's No, you had me on the journey with you. I was getting goosebumps through your entire talk. And then when you took us to ancient Egypt and stopped there and connected back to Mesopotamia, it is beautiful. It is brilliant. I wish we had more time. We're totally out of time, but I'm going to let our listeners...
Well, we're going to continue. This is the introduction,
Yes.
We're going to continue this on the 12th. I look forward to that.
Yes.
Because I really, really want to go into the Bible, which is the lock and key that holds the minds of the people, and quote verse by verse, show them things that they've never even realized that's in there.
And
this is the introduction.
It is the introduction. You have begun to do that for us. What you have done for us today is that you've given us so much food for thought. We are going to chew this, digest it, regurgitate and digest it, because there is just so much there coming from someone who, you're not just talking it, you've been there. You've been on the journey, you've been through the process, and you've come to this place, which is a beautiful place where, this is something that we are going to follow you on. Thank you so much, Uncle Jimmy. We'll see you on the 12th. Our listeners will hear much more from you with Musha Baruka, with Elise Kelly, and then again on the 12th in summertime.
Ansen ye bewo busunyu kukudru fo na baba ye mema sem no ye wodo so ntim jakariye konya Ire FM so ye she running Africa yen ye krono.
What a chat with him. I'm sure you are also on that journey with him. We don't get to hear much of that side of Uncle Jimmy Cliff, but I'm glad that we had that chat.
Yes, man. It was really inspiring, seeing him identify himself, not from the Bible, as he said, in terms of where we saw images of white people, but going through the different journeys, the different places he traveled, and his own research. Yeah, man. So we, as black people, as Jamaicans, yeah, man, we should feel inspired to research and see and find out who we are.
This is basically what he was saying, which is when and where we enter. And for him, he took us on that journey as a child, entering through the Pentecostal church and following his spirit and his soul to identify himself all the way through to ancient Kemet and then into Mesopotamia. And he was very serious about the need for us as African people to look again at Mesopotamia. And I owe that to Uncle Jimmy Cliff. We understand that he will be given a national funeral, so we're looking forward to that. He was such a humble person. He always wanted to take whatever back home to Somerton. And this is something that I think, we should even consider, even we're talking about his own funeral. I'm seeing some stories in the papers today, also in the Observer. Just 13 minutes ago, the Observer shared this story of talking about his children, which seems to be a beautiful story. So let's read that as we seek to honor Jimmy Cliff. We're coming to you live from Sierra Leone. We're in Africa, and this is quite an experience for us. We have been going through Freetown and been engaged in quite a few different activities. One of those included the launch of the One Nation Reggae Festival. And at the launch, this launch was opened by the 12 tribes of Israel here in Sierra Leone. And I had a conversation with the priest, the leader of the 12 tribe of Israel in Sierra Leone. And afterwards, the while the music was going on, the drumming and all of that was going on, we tried to have a conversation. And he was talking to me about that, making that serious connection with the 12 tribe of Israel in Jamaica. So Priest Asher, here in Sierra Leone, heads up the 12 tribes of Israel. And so I just took my phone out and said, go ahead and record this. And I will play this for you in Jamaica, more or less a message for the 12 tribe of Israel in Jamaica, from the 12 tribe of Israel in Sierra Leone. And you've got that, Shane, with Priest Asher.
Yes, man. So we have a break, and then we can play that right after the break.
All right. And just quickly to say, the background noise might be a little bit much, but we can still hear him. And it's a short one. So let's go. Inside of the Africa Forum, live from Sierra Leone, from Freetown in Sierra Leone. And as we said earlier, we caught up with members of the 12 tribes of Israel in Sierra Leone. Rastafari issues are similar wherever we go around the world. And I had a conversation with Priest Asher, leader of the 12 tribes of Israel. He's sending a message that he especially wanted to get to the 12 tribes of Israel in Jamaica. Let's go to that. But our apologies for the background noise. We were literally at the launch of the event, speaking on the sidelines of all of that.
Yes, my brother, yes. Can you send greetings to the 12 tribe of Israel back in Jamaica?
Yeah, greetings to every brother in Jamaica. We greet you here as we are on this One Nation Reggae Festival. In the next coming, we invite you all to come. This is your home, Sierra Leone, Lion Mountain. We welcome you all. I'm the High Priest. Welcome you all to the Lion Mountain. Blessed.
And you are the High Priest of the 12 tribe of Israel here in Jamaica. Tell us about the building that you are undertaking to complete.
Yes, as we are in this Lion Mountain, we are erecting a tabernacle up in Winnipeg Hills, New Englandville, in the Lion Mountain. And it's a stone wall, stone peak. Everything is of the rock originally. No bricks, no nothing but the stones in original ancient building. So we welcome you all to come and see this wonderful ancient building we have erected as a temple in this Lion Mountain, Sierra Leone.
The 12 tribes of Israel, as we have said before, very present here in Sierra Leone. What is the membership of the 12 tribe of Israel here? The membership, how many members?
Well, we have members in diverse cities. We have the headquarters, which we are erecting up Winnipeg Hills. Then we have another branch at Judah Hills, the Lion Mountain. So the membership is separated. We have one branch at Judah Hills, Wellington, and the main headquarters at Winnipeg Hills, the Lion Mountain, New England Hills.
In Jamaica, the house is currently on rest. Are you on rest here also, or do you have your ongoing activities and regular meetings?
See, here now, we are not safe in the hands of the government, but we are fighting even the decriminalization of cannabis. We are on it, and we started in 2016. And when governance changed, everything just lagged behind. But we are on the process, and we are asking everybody, the Rastafari movement, diaspora, home and abroad, to help us fight against this decriminalization of cannabis sativa.
Thank you so much, my brother. What can the house in Jamaica do? What can the 12 tribe of Israel in Jamaica do to assist?
Well, we want the 12 tribes in Jamaica to come on board in trying to fight this act against God's giving weed, which he has given unto the 12 tribes of Israel in everywhere in the diaspora, home and abroad. It has been given unto us as a cannabis sativa. So we ask that you help us to fight against this depression.
Thank you, Priest Asha.
All right. So that was Priest Asha, head of the 12 tribes of Israel here in Sierra Leone, underscoring the challenges that Rastafari is facing here in Sierra Leone. But let me just say that the 12 tribe of Israel is foregrounded, and as far as recognition of Rastafari is concerned, in terms of from a government perspective and generally across Sierra Leone, the 12 tribes of Israel is highly present. And I think this is a cautionary tale for Jamaica in a way, to say Sierra Leone is, against all odds, the Rastafari group here on Sierra Leone, in Sierra Leone, that is really holding the flag of Rastafari very, very high, so that whenever there is a government activity such as the One Nation Reggae Festival and the launch and any other thing, if you ask me, from just what we're seeing around here, that they are the leaders in terms of Rastafari business in Sierra Leone. I'm open to correction, but it's just what I've noticed so far in Sierra Leone. I know that we have just a few minutes left, just about 15 or so minutes inside of the program. But just to underscore that what's happening here in Sierra Leone is for us in Jamaica to take advantage of. Because basically what they're saying to us is Sierra Leone is a gateway to Africa for the diaspora. They're looking at Jamaica. I understand that the Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, who is the leader, who organized all of this, will be in Jamaica in February during the first week of Black History Month. It's also Reggae Month. So she'll be coming in for that, and we'll hear much more from her as far as that is concerned. We have our own representative on the island, of course. Professor Rosalie Hamilton heads up the honorary Sierra Leone consul there in Jamaica, and it's always open to our telephone calls, our contacts, and always ready and willing to give us as much information as possible. There's some other activities that we did that really for us is, I think when we talk about collaboration, when we talk about how we work with Sierra Leone, is something that we can begin to look at. For example, we went to, in the center of town, an IT center where one of our own brothers here, I think he's from Nigeria. Is he from Nigeria or Sierra Leone? I think. But so he was in Dubai when we went there. But it is how the amount of persons that are being employed in this sector and how they're looking at AI and getting out ahead of this, in ensuring that Sierra Leone, and not just Sierra Leone, but Sierra Leone and other countries in Africa, because he told us he's employing 50,000 in Nigeria, a similar amount, I think, in Ghana, and of course here now in Sierra Leone, ensuring that we are not left out of the convergence of the digital technologies, this global digital dystopia that we're finding ourselves in, that Africa is finding a way to get out ahead of it. As a matter of fact, all the minerals come from Africa, don't they? Rare earth minerals and so on. So good work there. So we visited that IT center to see what's happening there. So this is it for us, from Sierra Leone. But just to say quickly, Shane, that we are taking note also of what's happening in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is once again in the geological spotlight following the volcanic activity, a volcano erupting in Ethiopia that hadn't erupted in 12,000 years? that's quite something. So we are paying attention to that. We're looking at the Ring of Fire. Also, we have volcanoes erupting in that Ring of Fire. Let's pay some attention to what's happening with the major volcanic mountains in the Ring of Fire. What's the Ring of Fire again? Let me quickly tell you. I think we have in Japan, the Philippines, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, parts of North and South America, parts of Russia. Ethiopia is not in the Ring of Fire, but we see that volcanic eruption, and we're paying some attention there. There was a synchronicity that happened with the Ethiopia volcano and the volcano that erupted. Was it Indonesia? But on the other part of the world. And that is phenomenal, because what I think it is saying to us is something that can only be answered through quantum physics. And we're going to have to pay some attention, because I think even for the scientists, they're trying to come to terms with this. So quantum computing, I think, can answer it, because what happened in Ethiopia was exactly replicated with another volcano on the other side of the world. And then what does this mean generally? I know we're going off on volcanoes, but you know me and quantum computing, Shane. It makes a lot of sense, but it's also answering some of the questions that we have regarding synchronicity, regarding energy and frequency and vibration. These are interesting times, and we are paying attention. All right, so what's left now for Sierra Leone? Let me just wrap this up to say that we have today, the rest of today, the tour of Bunce Island continues, and that will run until late into the evening. As I said before, this is an area where Africans were enslaved. As a matter of fact, you should see what I'm doing. I'm putting on the. Let me read this. Okay, so Bunce Island was one of 40 major European commercial forts built along the West African coast during the enslavement of Africans. Bunce Island, which was originally BENCE, was at the limit of navigation for ocean-going vessels, a meeting place for European traders, enslavers, and they have traders on this, and we need to talk to them about putting enslavers, and African merchants coming from the interior. This is really interesting. These words are getting on my nerves, because we have European traders and African anyway. Listen, I didn't read this before, but anyway, it's a sign that's on Bunce Island, and the language is driving me crazy, because it is all enslavers, isn't it? Coming in from the interior or otherwise. But this site is what it is, and it represents the most vicious time in African history, when Africans were so viciously and violently enslaved by Europeans. So the major part of our team, led by Professor Rosalie Hamilton, they are on Bunce Island today. Had to go to the ferry. You take a boat across. It takes about an hour to get there, and then a few hours to tour the entire island and then back. We are in the center of town. We are in Freetown. And as I said at the beginning of this program, we are in Freetown because Bunce Island is pretty uninhabited, where there is hardly any service, whether it's cell service or internet service. So we would not have been able to broadcast from there. But it's an island that I'd like to go to myself. And I suppose when we come back next year, inshallah, we will be able to do that, especially if we can do this on a day when we're not necessarily broadcasting. But that's what's left for today. We're going to be heading home shortly, back to Jamaica. We're home in Africa, but we're heading back to Jamaica shortly. We're concerned about the news coming out of the Caribbean, that Truth Social tweet from Donald Trump, in which he said that the skies over Venezuela will be closed to air traffic. I'm not quite sure what the situation is for the rest of the Caribbean, but we're paying attention to that. He's ramping up the rhetoric, and a lot of people are saying that they do not expect that there will be boots on the ground or that we'll see war. But we have the biggest armada in the Caribbean Sea since the Iraq War, and still others coming. So I'm not quite sure what that means. But as I said before, we're also paying attention to all of that. What else do we have coming up, Nia? So thank you so much to the team. Nia Monifa Taysha Williams Green, who's been with me here all through this process, and as my engineer, liaising with Mr. Wisdom on the ground throughout all of this, our engineer at IRFM. Thank you so much, Mr. Wisdom. At a point, we didn't think that we were able to pull it together because of the situation in Jamaica, because as a result, connectivity, as a result of Hurricane Melissa. But here we are. We did pretty well. So thank you to my engineer, Nia, producer, and technical operator here in Sierra Leone, and Mr. Wisdom, our engineer on the ground in Jamaica. Thank you so much, Shane Clark, last week and this week. I know I wake you up before day last week, and you were really very good about this. So thank you so much. Dr. Devon Taylor, I see you, Dr. Devon Taylor. Dr. Devon Taylor, so we need, I see you now. He's telling us what to get on Bunce Island for the broadcast. So we'll leave it in your hand, Dr. Devon Taylor. All right, thanks also and good morning to my brother David Wilson from Rio Nuevo Village on the island there, to K. Ezekwe. Good morning again to Jawari. Good morning to all our listeners as usual. I'm not on the social media. Thank you so much once again, my brother Marvin Wong. Thank you so much. Thank you to IRFM. To the team here. Help me with the team here now, because we didn't make a list. Leading the team, Professor Rosalie Hamilton, and the immediate team helped to organize this, Dwayne, and to Diana, to the delegation, Makeda, King Kali, and Courtney, and who are we? Mama G. You know, Mama G has been really a strength to us on the journey. Mama G, look out for me if I make sure we have food for each other. She said, look here, but Cabo, notice you're picking around the food, you know, you're not eating, and I'm going to have to get you something. So Mama G ensure that we are well fed, that nobody is hungry at us. So thank you so much, Mama G, for that. Thank you. Who else we have on the team that we're leaving? Kawa. And Kawa, who's the protocol officer here, who's been ensuring that we're okay. Once again, to the team that was right here with us, Madam Woke, our fashion designer, Hawana to Sese from the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, the Assistant Director of Tourism. She was here earlier. Emmanuel Suma from the Office of the Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, Indira Ramato Kamaro of the Sierra Leone Institute of Theatre, the subvented agency under the Cultural Directorate. She is a Secretary General. And to the wider team, Francis Moma, I think, who did so well. To the team from Jamaica, Queen Africa, Sizzler, Christopher Martin, Luke and I, who we're missing out now from the team. There are two more people who performed from Jamaica. Jatonda and to all the wider team here on the island. This is going to continue. We've heard from the minister, which is to say that the plan is to make this an annual event. And so you can start saving to be in Sierra Leone next week for the One Nation Reggae Festival. Who did I live with? Next year. Sorry, not next week, but next year. So listen now, this is where Sierra Leone is. Sierra Leone is next door to Guinea, right next door to Guinea, and Guinea is next door to Guinea-Bissau. And I know that you must have read and heard by now that there is a coup in Guinea-Bissau. We are seeing nothing of it in Sierra Leone, but I'm quite sure that if things do not settle down quickly, that there will be a refugee situation. But for now, this is an ongoing event. It's pretty fluid, but that coup has happened in Guinea-Bissau. It's a Guinea-Bissau. And we're close, just in case you're wondering. We're pretty close, but we're also very, very safe as far as that is concerned. So this is how we say goodbye for today. Thank you so much, Shane. Is Mr. Bigay there? Well, we don't know, but I do hope.
Yes, he's here.
Mr. Bigay.
Good morning, Kabu.
How are you, sir?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful. Missing you a lot, but I'm wonderful.
Oh, it pobrecito, but I'll be back shortly. It's a two-way thing.
How is Africa treating you? Or better yet, how are you treating the motherland?
We're both treating each other well. I don't ever hear about the big stage show yet, but that stage show at probably 13,000 people. It's a 12,000 venue, so it was bursting at the seams. I mean, really great. It was good.
Meeting up with old friends from Jamaica, meeting up in a foreign land or in the homeland.
Yes, like Luke and I. Mm-hmm. Luke for the whole trip, Luke and I called me Andrea Williams.
That is old school. If one actually remember that forgotten name, you come from a long way.
Exactly, and Jatonda is here too. So you'd look from Capleton and the thing. So quite something. Mm-hmm. Sizzler, we traveled with Sizzler come all the way in, so we had some really good conversations, and his performance was brilliant. Also, Queen Africa was brilliant. I mean, all the performances were really, really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's it for me.
So how long will you be there for?
We're leaving tomorrow, and it's a long journey because we are going through Guinea. Not Guinea-Bissau, Guinea. And then Brussels, which is Belgium. And then Zurich, which is Switzerland. And then New York.
You didn't tell us that you were going on a world tour.
Boy, I don't want to go on a world tour. It's a bit much.
No, I can well imagine. But you get here in one piece. And we will welcome you with open arms when you return.
There you go. Big game, you can't find nothing for what you want.
Sierra Leone. You have good taste. I'll leave that with you.
All right, then. Leave it to me.
I trust you.
You there?
Reggae Radio, IRE FM.
Yes, Cabo.
Yeah, I was just saying, this is how we say goodbye for today.
For today. All right.
For today.
See you next week,
inshallah.
In the flesh.
In the flesh.
Okay.
Give thanks. Thanks.